Hi, I'm Nixon. Welcome to my multimedia presentation. I'll be taking you through Chapter 5 of Digital Habitats, making sense of the technology landscape. Technology landscape refers to the current market technology which provides the tools that are generally a possibility used for the construction of digital community habitats. Making sense involves knowing the tools that are available in the market, understanding how they work, how they interact with each other, and how they are used. The challenges that community face are used to make sense of the broad landscape of tools which are later adopted by the communities. According to Wenger, digital communities and technology shape each other, implying that when communities are interacting, they face challenges, and as they endeavor to solve these challenges, they are forced to adopt new technology so that they can maintain their interactions. These challenges that are faced by the communities uh, exist as pairs of concepts, and they are referred to as polarities. These polarities, um, which we are saying that are in a pair, means that we have each polarity being on one end. So what happens is that the polarities depend on each other, meaning that there is really none that can work on its own. The polarities affect each other, but each one of them captures a distinct dimension of the challenge of learning together. There are three types of polarities. The first one is rhythms, which involves togetherness and separation. The second one is interactions, which involves participation and reification. The last one is identities, which involves individual and group. Let us begin by looking at rhythms. Um, Rhythms, which involves togetherness and separation, actually implies that as members of communities coexist, as they interact with each other, as they learn together to make use of the tools that are available in the market. Generally, they are always their interactions always face the challenge of time and space, meaning that they are separated by the long distances between them. Then, because each one of them has their own work schedules, likes, dislikes, that means that we also have the challenge of time coming into play. So, togetherness and separation are therefore in a complex interplay, and they will keep alternating so that the members of the community are able to learn together. So the fundamental challenge of the community is finding productive rhythm of togetherness and separation in space and time. Technology presents various ways of dealing with the time and space challenge. So technology creates new community times. These community times are not constrained by schedules and time zones, and the aspect of space will also come in because the members are able to interact with each other irrespective of the locations in which they are found. Secondly, we have interactions, which I had said earlier involves participation and reification. These interactions generally involve the meaning-making process of the technology tools that are available. So it is very fundamental to learning theory and the underlying concept of communities of practice. So, on one hand, members will engage directly in activities, conversations, reflections, and other forms of personal participation during the learning within the community. Uh, but on the other hand, we have members producing physical and conceptual artifacts, words, concepts, tools, methods, stories, documents, links to resources, and other forms of reification that reflect their shared experience around which they organize their participation. So, in simple terms, we are saying that we have participation, including the activities, the conversations, reflections, and other forms of participation, while reification generally involves the tools, the documents, the artifacts, the links to resources that community members will generally share. Lastly, we have identities, which involves the group and the individual. So within a community, we have an individual existing there as an individual, but at the same time exists as a member of different groups within the community. So this brings in the concept of multi-membership for an individual. So therefore, I would say that learning together in this case becomes a complex achievement where the communal and the individual engagement, aspirations, and identities generally form a weave for an individual. Learning together generally will lead to disagreements and at the same time enables the members to discover that each one of them sees the world and technology differently. So it is these disagreements and the divergent views of the members that are the challenge when it comes to identities, but at the same time, each one of them um, uh, is also a useful resource for our community because the community has to come up with a way of solving each one of them. So the polarities are summarized on a diagram as we can see it on the screen. Um, the, the middle vertical orientation generally involves participation and reification. What we earlier on had referred to as interactions. Then, when we look at the horizontal orientation, we have the rhythms, that is togetherness and separation. So we have the synchronous and asynchronous interactions between members. So we will have synchronous that involves communication tools that generally have communication using text, communication using audio and video, while on the other hand, for the asynchronous, we have generally the messaging tools coming into play. At the top of this circle, we have at the top we have the tools that support participation. Then at the bottom, we have the tools that support um, the creation, the storing, and the sharing of artifacts. Then at the center circle, at the center circle, we have the collective tools, meaning that tools that are used by the group, and they also manage the site of the group. Then on the outer band generally involves individuals. So the outer band generally therefore has tools that help uh, the interaction between individuals. Like we have the subscription. This means individuals have to join specific groups. We have a buddy list. This refers to a list of friends. They can be able to search. They can be able to filter their interests. They can be able to do bookmarking. So generally, that is how we can put this together and summarize it on a diagram. So after I read this, I summarize this as the importance. So anybody who requires to look at technology has to read this, because making sense of technology helps reveal what inherent challenges community are facing for which they can use technology. It also helps to articulate how specific tools act as resources for addressing these challenges in new ways. It helps us also look at technology in terms of knowledge management. So knowledge can actually be managed, and in this case, we are looking at it from the perspective that we are moving from noun-based knowledge to verb-based knowledge, what I refer to as the why and the how of knowledge. Lastly, these polarities help us to think about how technology generally affects the balance of a community's habitat. Um, Technology also provides a new ways to participate in community interactions. It pushes the boundaries of both participation and reification, thus exposing communities to the larger world of technology and interactions. Then lastly, technology provides tools for individuals to filter information so that they are able to know where uh, um, their needs are. They can locate others and find new connections. So what is the implication of this uh, uh, to me as a teacher? One, it helps me look at education through a technology lens, because using technology, I can be able to teach high order thinking skills. This is because as technology evolves, education also does evolve. So this implies that uh, as technology improves, the way we are looking at education and carrying it out must also improve. Um, as a teacher, sometimes I serve as a tech steward. So this means that I have to learn to balance between the two polarities when I consider the polarities, so that there is effective learning. And lastly, with the wide landscape of technology in the market, then as a teacher, I need to expose my learners to a variety of technology tools so that they can use them for engagement and collaboration during the learning process. Thank you so much for listening to me.